Greetings, CATDC. It's Lisa here. I hope you all had a safe and restful break. Welcome to December. We made it. Many of you I know are enjoying the POCC conference this week. So I asked CATDC Program Manager Jannah Tate, who has been in attendance, to join me here to talk about some of her impressions with you all, with all of us. So Jannah, thanks for joining us. I know you're busy,
It's
and I
my
hope I'm not taking you
pleasure.
away from some of the conference.
No, it's I'm excited to talk with you about it because I think I'll have an opportunity to process it, and then when I go into tomorrow, I'll know what to be looking for.
There you go. So how many times have you been to the conference?
So I've been to POCC. This is my fifth year. It's my first time not as a teacher. So I taught mostly in middle school at the Latin School of Chicago. Shout out you all for 4 years. And then when I moved to California, I joined the CATDC. So this is my first time kind of as like a non-educator, I guess, participating.
Great. And thank you. And for those of you who haven't met Jannah yet, she is just the master of managing kind of the back end and the forefront of our programs, but getting people into breakout rooms, making sure the technology goes well. And then she's also working with a couple of our facilitators, our DEI group, and the affinity space group that's coming up. So just to give you that background. So Jannah, what's been your favorite conference that you attended?
Um, I think it might be the first, mostly because everything was so new. It was my first year teaching. I was fresh out of school. I was like maybe 2 or 3 months out of school. And so everything was so big and bright. So it also happened to be the year it was in DC. And I grew up in that area. I'm from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So being able to kind of experience it for the first time there was really exciting.
That's wonderful. So what would you say is the most important aspect of POCC for people of color?
Um, I think that because of independent schools are rooted in a history of segregation, right? So I think that for underrepresented educators like myself, women of color, people of color, POCC offers an opportunity for us to come together and be in community with one another, recharge, and then return to our communities, which have been historically predominantly white and for the most part still are.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's so important. And how would you say that that has translated, the sense of community and connection has translated to the virtual realm this year?
I'll be honest, I was curious how this would all pan out. I think one of the really kind of like remarkable things about POCC is showing up in like the sheer number of people, right? Because that's an experience that you don't have. You don't get very many opportunities to be one of many when you're a person of color working in independent schools. And so to go to POCC and to join, for me, I joined the African American Affinity Group, and I'm in a room with 1,000 other Black teachers. And that's really like a remarkable feeling. And
Yeah.
I was like, how are they going to flip this online? Like, should we even bother? But I will say being in the affinity group breakout rooms during this time, I don't know, the magic is still there.
That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. And that's something we're always trying to figure out how to do, as you well know, within our workshops. How do we bring that magic, that connection anyway? But yeah, it sounds great. I'm glad to hear that. And what have been some especially inspiring moments for you or key takeaways at the conference this year? I know you have one more day to
Yeah.
go.
Um, I think so on one level, it's fun to see everybody working, like it's fun to see what everyone's been up to and what everyone has been thinking about. It's also kind of like a go best friend like moment where it's so fun to see like your fellow like educators of color like on the big screen, like doing interesting things. And so it's nice to just kind of like see the innovation that's there. But also, again, the affinity group breakout rooms have been really rejuvenating for me. I also realized that as much as it's an opportunity to kind of like network and connect with other people, it's also a time to kind of like, uh, it's like a coming home of sorts. I found myself calling former colleagues of mine that maybe aren't attending this year, but attended with me before or worked with me at other schools. And so I think it's bringing me to a place where I'm thinking about tending to my loved ones and my friends. And um, I don't know, it's such like a really reflective time for me personally as well as professionally.
Mm, that's great, Jana. Well, thanks so much for sharing some of your impressions and your experiences at POCC this year. And to all of you out there at CATDC, one thing I would recommend is that if you're not on Twitter yet, that you go to hashtag NAIS There's so much learning being shared on Twitter related to the conference. And then, of course, we hope you will check out our website to see what other great offerings CATDC has. We hope to help you feel at home, build that kind of connection and affinity also that Jana is describing. And thank you so much again, Jana, and thank you all for listening. Take care.